afternoon?
Well, normally there's people for protest, and I see a set of people there protesting, and I figure wherever they're protesting there must be a party, got to get free rum, so I just decided to join for the free rum.
Rancho. You think I care? They must think I care. That's why you always broke. You think I care? Your girl get you think I care? On the table you duck. You think I care? Oh, your soul don't work. You think I care? That's why you just get blow. You think I care? You neighbor them know. You think I care? Oh, you like free rum. You think I care? And you don't mind your son. You think I care? They telling people how you get blacklist. I don't know what I want with your name. Well, if you see my face, I unbothered. Cause all know, cause I'm still in the game. Half of them are telling my story, telling people I don't get work. Well, if you know crazy is, then you know how I stay. Then you know that I don't give a fuck. Say clothes them cheap, you think I care? The man get a jeep, you think I care? Oh, your roof does leak, you think I care? Cars are antique, you think I care? You say you thief some money, you think I care? You just get knocked out, you think I care? Oh, you build some house, you think I care? Oh, the one give laugh, you think I care? 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 You must think I care? You think I care? You think I care? You think I care? You must think I care? You think I care? You think I care? You think I care? You must think I care? You think I care? You think I care? You think I care?
Good afternoon, sir. Can you tell us what is happening here this afternoon?
First of all, my name is Bartholomew Pythagoras Petroleum Concern. And you see, I'm out here because I'm concerned. We are concerned.
True.
Concerned about one Kwesi Ace Edmondson.
And what exactly are you guys concerned about?
First of all, I know that my dialect is extremely proficient, so accompanying me here is my esteemed translator.
Yeah, that's me.
And what's your name?
Oh, well, I Stacy from the back road, yeah?
Yes.
And the funny news.
First of all, he doesn't have a very sophisticated automobile.
Well, he carry nice, it's a old carry drive, yes.
Yes. And he shirks from his biological duties.
Here now, we trying to say that he don't mind the cheering them.
Yes, and the other thing, he's prone to perfidiousness, you know.
Well, he just give blow and he's get plenty blow.
They must think I care. Me bills don't pay. Me taking on stress when me ear get great. Since I was a little boy, I did on own way. I'll tell my friend that is how I stay. You can do what you want, hope and pray. Drop this tune, you can say don't play. You can tell me January fall in May, but come the next year and do it the same way. So you always broke, you think I care.
In this brief interview this evening, Rickford Burke joins me to talk about the trump-up charges by the PPP government of incitement of hostility or ill will on the grounds of race, sedition, including public terror and seditious libel, among others, will be heard in a kangaroo court on March 28, 2024, in Rickford Burke's absence. In that same month, the CGID president and US-based political activist will receive a prestigious award from Impact Awards in New York. Rickford Burke joins me now. Rickford Burke, thank you for being here on The Voice of the Diaspora. I know that this is going to be a quite brief program. You have taken time out of your busy schedule. I know lots are going on for you. I don't want to disclose, if you wish to, you can, but I know lots are going on for you. And I appreciate the fact that with all that is happening at this current moment with you, you have taken that opportunity to put duty first and to join Voice of the Diaspora, to connect with the Guyanese people at home and in the diaspora, to talk about issues that they are concerned about. We know that the PPP civic government, will be fostering a kangaroo trial next month, on the 28th of next month, in the courts of Guyana. And also, it will be in your absence, but we also know that you are doing so much stuff in the diaspora. There is an award ceremony that will be coming up in March too, 8 days before that trumped up trumped up charges will be leveled against you in the Guyana's courts and so on. And so I welcome you here on Voice of the Diaspora for us to have this brief conversation. How are you feeling? How are you?
I'm well, thanks. Thanks for the invitation. Good evening to your listeners. And I'm happy to be here to, as usual, have a dialogue with you and our viewers.
The PPP has moved, and the world knows that. The world knows that as an activist that is connected with the U.S. government, and that you are exposing dictatorship, you are exposing the hegemonous attitude of the PPP, you are exposing all of the ills that the PPP is visiting on African Guyanese. And so, the world knows where you stand. The Guyanese world knows where you stand. And all these ills are being exposed by yourself in a very powerful way. Rickford, on the 28th of March, there will be a court trial in your absence in Guyana. And these charges are very serious. These trumped up charges, I must say, are very serious. Sedition, inciting public terror, seditious libel, amongst others. This is almost life in jail. How do you respond to what the PPP is doing through the police and the courts in Guyana?
Well, Norman, thanks for that question. I'm not in any way concerned about what they're doing and their trumped up charges. I do not live in Guyana. I am not subject to the jurisdiction of the courts in Guyana, nor the Guyana Police Force. So my attitude towards that is very dismissive and contemptuous. Just as contemptuous as the Guyana Police Force is or the Guyana government is of the laws of the United States, I'm just as contemptuous of them. Contemptuous of Barjack, they're contemptuous of the police force, contemptuous of the police commissioner, who's a big joke, the most unqualified police commissioner in the history of the country. They can't intimidate me. And they plan to have a trial. Norman, I doubt whether that there's going to be a trial. And let me hasten to say that I do not recognize the jurisdiction of any court in Guyana or the Guyana Police Force over my conduct, behavior, or life in the United States.
Rickford Burke here on Voice of the Diaspora, speaking to myself here, and he's being very straight. He is not concerned about any trial being held against him in Guyana, and he's not even, worried about a trial being had. In fact, he has just said that he's not sure that a trial will be had. Rickford, I want to, because so many people
And I want to be very.
Many people are tuning in, and it's really so many people are tuning in at the moment. It's surprising. I've never seen this on my program, but so many people are tuning in. Right, give them a background of why the PPP has moved in that direction and how it happened. We know that the policeman Sarabo would have traveled to America to put that
break U.S. law.
To summons you, for the want of a better term, to summons you, and he went to your home. Take us back to that point when it happened, and also take us back to why you think it happened in terms of your activism in the U.S. over the past year, 2 years.
Well, it happened because I convened in the Washington conference, and I have challenged Barjack Day with every turn. Every time he attacks me, I respond. And I demonstrate to him that he can intimidate me, and I am not scared of him or the Guyana Police Force. I'm not. So he decided to take the step to proved to me that he could get me anywhere. Well, I wish him good luck. They sent Sarabo. They allegedly sent Sarabo. That's what they said. They sent Sarabo and another gentleman to my house who the police force has identified as Wasserman. We have no way, well, this is a matter of enforcement, but I personally have no way of verifying what they said was true. But the I you will recall that in the lead up to the Washington conference, Barjagdeo threatened the conference. He said any member of Congress of the United States government or Guyana or U.S. government official that attends the conference, he's going to deal with them and bring them down. He is world powerful. He tried to attack the credibility of the conference, said that we're scamming people. Some Haitian man made up some Haitian man that gave us $10,000, and just a bunch of lies and falsehood. I felt as though he was the coordinator for the Trump campaign, and probably the leader of the neo-Nazi club in America. The way he was behaving, obviously, he was scared of the Washington conference. And after the Washington conference, he felt real embarrassed because none of the things he said turned out to be true. He couldn't produce his Haitian man. He said, gave us $10,000. He's just a nasty, reckless SOB, and thinks that because of his nastiness and his history of killing people, that I'll be scared. But I'm not scared of Barjagdeo. So he sent men with guns to my house. And subsequent to that, they released some video claiming that the men served me with something. Everybody saw that nothing was served on me. He said the men read something before they released this doctored video. They said the men read something to me. The video showed that the men read nothing to me. All the men said, the one man that came up my step, the other was to the bottom of the step, said, I'm Rickford Burke and I must take this. And I just ignored him and told him to leave my premises. He did not. And at that point in time, he committed a crime of trespassing. They had firearms, which I could have seen, which means that that's a breach of U.S. laws, brandishing or menacing me with a firearm. The police came, of course. The police deemed it an act of terrorism, called in the FBI. The FBI arrived, took custody of the documents they left on my step, and investigation is ongoing. Now, I have been advised that pursuant to that investigation, law enforcement, and I don't want to give too much information, but law enforcement officials discovered that persons in the government of Guyana are actively involved in a plot to have me killed in the United States. And so that's an ongoing investigation. I expect there will be arrests in this whole investigation. We're in touch with elected officials, United States government officials. Persons in Guyana have given affidavits to U.S. law enforcement about what they know that to be part of this conspiracy in the government of Guyana to, one, breach U.S. law, breach U.S. sovereignty, violate international law, and it's all Barajagde with Clifford Hicken. So we'll see where the investigation goes. Now, as a result of what they've done, the law enforcement officials here have put certain measures in place to ensure my safety, including posting police marked and unmarked vehicles at my home.
Rickford Burke, what distinguishes you from all other activists in this struggle for the liberation of Guyana and Guyanese is that you are connected to powerful people in the U.S. government. You've got the ear of powerful people in the U.S. government, and not only in the U.S. government, but you've got the ear of the FBI and other organizations in the United States that deal with transnational repression and so on. Take us back to when you would have exposed Barajagdeo. You said a moment ago that you are aware that Barajagdeo killed people. You didn't say allegedly. You are aware. And that is what Guyanese around the world love about you. You are very serious in registering your position because you are coming from a position of knowledge. You're not afraid of the PPP. You're not afraid of Barjack. You're not afraid of Anil Nandalal or anyone in the PPP government. You said you are aware that he has killed people and that the PPP government is involved and has been involved in the murder of many that did not subscribe to their mantra and to their dictatorial rule. Tell our viewers a bit about that.
Well, Barjagde, when he was president, formed death squads with a specific intent to kill people, who he deemed, they call them criminals. They went as far as importing military equipment that can triangulate and find people based on their telephone locations. And they use that as a mechanism to find people and kill them. They finance these death squads. They got away with it. They did it with impunity because they were able to label people criminal, just like Barjagde has been trying to label me a criminal. It has not resonated with people because everybody knows that he's talking nonsense and that he's looking in the mirror. But just imagine if I didn't have the influence I had, if I didn't have the ability to respond to him, the ability to fight them, what would have happened to me and what happens to ordinary poor people in Guyana? And, you know, I want to pause here to say this. If these people kill one more person in Guyana, they must be dislodged from government. One more person. Because Guyanese must not allow murders, political murders, to happen without consequences. This is not Russia. But Barjagde is looking at everything Putin is doing. He's just killed Navalny. He's killed the gentleman that led the forces against him a few months ago. His plain blood. That's Barjagde. He admires that kind of tyranny. But he's targeting the wrong person because everything Barjagde tries to do to me or my family, we will do it back to him. We just want him to know that. I am prepared to go to war with him. And if he's a real bad man, why is he using the government resources to target people? He's a bad man. He should come directly. But what he's doing is using the Guyana police force to target his political opponents. And he has a compliant police commissioner who is basically a house slave, a puppet, most unqualified police commissioner. But they put him there because he's a black man and he can carry out their dictates, carry out their evil machinations, and then they can say, well, he's a black man, right? So that's why they're, and he is so thankful that he is in this undeserving position for which he's completely ineligible, completely unqualified. And so he sits there carrying out the evil machinations of the PPP government. You would recall that when the people of Lynn, where you're from, decided to protest against the increase in electricity tariffs, he was the commanding officer in that region. And all of a sudden, 3 protesters were shot dead. And he claims that he didn't give the order to shoot them. Well, who did? And there was a so-called commission of inquiry. Nothing happened. These people have been killing people for decades with impunity. And I've been speaking out against it, and they think they can target me. Now, what US officials have been telling me is that they find most contemptuous of them is the fact that the PPP government knows that a lot of these people know me, the Attorney General, Vice President, the members of Congress, members of the United States Senate know me, I work with them. And the fact that they can stand up to make a statement. The statement is not against me, you know, Norman. The statement is against Attorney General James, the Congress members, the Vice President of the United States. That's who Barjagde is using the police force to make a statement against. And it was in that context that he sent Sarabo to my house with a gun to show me that he could get me anywhere. Now, the people who were with me were armed. That situation could have ended up very, very deadly that day.
Yes.
Very deadly, because they had firearms and my people had firearms, legal firearms. And that's why I walked away from the situation. Apart from the fact that it was my Sabbath, I walked away from the situation because I did not want any mishap at my house. A lot of people are questioning why didn't I fire at them? Why didn't I, why wasn't I more aggressive? It was my Sabbath, and I'm a responsible person, and I did not want to be the subject of the news. They're the subject of the news because they're the one that violated U.S. law. They're the one that violated international law. They're the ones that trespassed on my home. They're the ones that brandished fire, came to my house to brandish firearm. Now, if this was Georgia or Florida, they could have been shot dead.
Yes.
They could have been shot dead under the provisions of the law. And that is the risk. It's not Barajak they're coming, he's sending people like Sarabo. A man who I'm shocked is still in the police force because the High Court in Guyana found him guilty of torture and committing crimes against humanity. And he was left in the police force. He was promoted. He was allegedly involved in several shootings, several killings, and he was promoted. He's now in the rank of assistant superintendent. So a lot of people felt in my neighborhood that the aggressiveness with which these men acted, they didn't come to serve me with anything, or they came with a secondary intent that if I reacted in a certain way to shoot me. That's what the witnesses have said to law enforcement, that they were aggressive, overly aggressive. And the other thing that Barry Jack has said is that the tape doesn't show, I said the men come with big guns. I never said that. He doesn't know the facts. He's trying to elicit the facts from me, and I'm not going to say it. But they had weapons. Witnesses saw them with weapons. They came to my home, marched up my step, opened my gate, straight to my front door. And Sarabo had on a black glove. It was not cold. It was about 50-something degrees, close to 60 degrees. He had on a black glove. What was the reason for that? And so this matter is of very particular importance to law enforcement. I know the investigation is ongoing. A number of people have been questioned. Statements have been taken. Police officers in Guyana who are perturbed of this incident have submitted statements to law enforcement here detailing who in Guyana were involved. I know for sure that it was the police commissioner himself who called Sarabo and I understand gave him those instructions. At least that's what the sources have said. And then directed Sarabo to go to a certain East Indian businessman who is a PPP supporter to collect the ticket. Now, in any country that respects the rule of law, that police commissioner should have been fired. First of all, you're sent following Barry Jagdev's instruction. You're instructing a Guyana police officer to leave the jurisdiction of Guyana, enter another country, violate its sovereignty, violate international law, and violate statutes in that country, espionage, transnational repression crime act, came here and committed crimes. So Rabo's visa should be revoked, or he should be charged and prosecuted in the United States. And we hope that will happen, and that his accomplice will also be charged and prosecuted in the United States.
Rickford Burke, two of the charges leveled against you that will come up in the courts of Guyana on the 28th of March are incitement of hostility or ill will on the grounds of race and inciting public terror. I want you to speak to the viewers. I really want you on this program tonight because I don't get you often and it's a brief program. Speak to the viewers on why you think that the PPP would have leveled those two charges against you, among others.
I have no clue. A PPP official who does not subscribe to what they're doing told me that Barry Jagde once told them that he wants to make my name so murky that when people Google me, they must see that I'm a criminal. We'll see about that. We'll see about that. And that U.S. officials must become so scared of me because he projects me as a criminal that they would not want to associate with me or listen to me or come to any of my events. I've been embraced more broadly by U.S. officials who have been expressing shock. And I think They're getting carried away because U.S. officials are dealing with them in the normal course of foreign relations. And so our finale is hugging up the ambassador to the United Nations and hugging up the Assistant Secretary of State for Western Hemisphere. But this is a law enforcement matter. This is a law enforcement matter. And we saw how aggressive the U.S. acted when they stopped the permanent secretary in the Ministry of National Security, took away her visa, took away her passport, seized her phone. So, and that's U.S. law enforcement. And politicians in the United States can instruct law enforcement like they do in Guyana. So let's see where the investigation leads. But I would like for them to tell me, what is this incitement of public terror? I'm in the United States. If I incite public terror, I mean, where is this act happened? If I commit a crime in the United States, in New York City in particular, where I live, the NYPD will arrest me and I'll be prosecuted by the district attorney in whichever county this alleged crime happens. If I have free speech, I can say whatever I want. The United States Constitution guarantees me that. So I'm not sure how the Guyana government can present in a court in Guyana an alleged case against me for something I said in the United States, guaranteed by the United States Constitution, that is not a crime in the United States, nor can it be a crime in Guyana. The Guyana police force does not have any jurisdiction to police what I say. I can say what I like. This is America. We have free speech here. And the fact that they think that they can charge people in America is baffling to me. And I want to see how this case, the charges they filed in the court, will be resolved. Well, more than likely it's going to be resolved in the High Court, because my attorneys in Guyana will be moving to the High Court shortly. But, and then we will move here. And one of the things we will do is prove that Barrett Jagdeo, Clifford Hicken, and several others in the Guyana police force are involved in a plot of, one, transnational repression, to use criminal charges in Guyana to repress my free speech here in the United States. And they've also been involved in a plot of international terrorism. If you send people from one country to another country to execute a terrorist threat, that's terrorism. And so Barrett Jagdeo, the police commissioner, and Sarabo have been involved in international terrorism. Let me say finally, on this point, another serious issue was uncovered by the FBI, where, and that information is going to come out in court, an official in Guyana came to the United States, was gathering information on me, monitoring my home, checking up on my family members, and actively attempted to recruit people to be involved in that conspiracy. Let me put it that way. And like I said, people will be prosecuted for that.
People would be prosecuted for that. Rickford Burke, for the sake of the viewers, there's a court trial upcoming on the 28th of March, as we all are aware. Are you aware of the PPP's attempt at any point to reach out to the U.S. government to ensure that you are taken to Guyana for that trial? Has there been any attempt for that?
They cannot be, because that would be in contravention of U.S. law. People who commit crimes are tried. I haven't committed any crime. I don't live in Guyana. Guyana police force doesn't have any jurisdiction to charge me with anything. And the United States government considers, one, the crime to be politically motivated. Two, that it's an effort at transnational repression. And so the police force is, the United States law enforcement or Justice Department is not investigating me for any crime. The United States Justice Department is investigating the Guyana police force, persons in the Guyana police force, persons in the government, and persons who they have recruited in furtherance of their efforts to commit espionage in the United States and to commit transnational repression crimes.
So,
So I'm not.
in your knowledge, there has been no
The,
attempt to extradite you or anything, because there are no
there's no
grounds to
basis. There's
yes,
no
there's no
basis.
basis. Yeah.
There's absolutely no basis. And
So
if they try to do that, they'll be committing a crime in the United States. So I'd love for them to send some letter to that effect. I know for sure that the Attorney General's office had written to the Justice Department and the Department of Homeland Security and tell them to arrest me. Arrest me and send them to, and when they were asked for what, they said, I burn ballots. Literally, that's what it said. Rickford Burke said burn ballots. Rickford Burke said burn down Georgetown. Absolutely pure made-up stuff. And the Justice Department wrote them back and said, well, that's free speech. And what you're asking us to do and what you're involved in is a violation of Mr. Burke's constitutional rights. And so Bart Jagdale went on a press conference and said, we want Burke, but the US government don't want to say. It is all a fairy tale. What they decided to do is like, okay, this guy Burke is in the international community giving us hell. So let us trump up something so that we could get him back to Guyana so that we could kill him. And the people involved in that plot, and people might not be surprised, are I make bold to say Barrett Jagdale, the police commissioner, and persons in in CID and others. And they were so bold to send people here in the United States to study my movement, see who my family members are, talk to social media companies on whose platform I have accounts, and try to recruit people to have me killed.
Rickford Burke, many
And
people
all of that information
go ahead.
has been given to law enforcement here.
Rickford Burke, many people believe that you are the real opposition. We have national elections in 2025. Do you believe that the PPP will be uprooted, or you feel that all is not well, and that Guyana's opposition is not prepared to effectively uproot the regime?
I will do everything in my power to work with the people in Guyana to get the people to go to vote to uproot the PPP. Everything in my power.
Everything in your power. Of course, Rickford, we have to talk about, while the PPP is trying to suppress you, while they're trying to jail you behind your back in Guyana, trump up charges in a kangaroo court. Of course, that is how this program feels. You are getting on with your life, and you will be the recipient of an award, I understand, an award from the Impact Awards in America, the Impact Awards Caribbean Life in America, 8 days before that court trial. Tell us a little bit about that award ceremony that you will be visiting in New York. You're a guest of in New York City, 8 days before that trial.
Well, in fact, I received 2 awards in the month of March. I think on the 15th, I'll receive an award called Champion of the People Award by an organization called United Bridge Builders. And the second award is by Caribbean Impact. Caribbean Impact Media is the largest Caribbean media in the United States, or rather in North America. And every year they give out this award to people who have made a significant impact on the community. And so they've selected me to get this award in my capacity as president of CGID. And, you know, we at CGID don't only advocate and speak about rights and corruption and human dignity in Guyana. We do a lot of work here in the United States. We do work in the other Caribbean countries. In the United States, every year we do a program called Law on You, where we take law enforcement, the judges, elected officials, the district attorney, the police chiefs, elected officials from every level of government, meaning the congressperson, the senator, the assembly person, the city council, judges from various courts, into underserved communities, very vulnerable communities, and we talk, and immigration lawyers, and we talk about the concerns of the people in the community. We address those concerns. So we help people with their immigration petition applications. We provide attorneys for persons who have been charged with serious offenses and can't afford an attorney. We we participate along with the district attorney and the courts in programs where they take the court out to the community and to deal with outstanding warrants for petty crimes. So let's say people who have committed violations are very, very minor misdemeanors, riding a bicycle on the sidewalk, spitting on the train, urinating on the street, and all of those warrants, thousands of warrants, were outstanding in Brooklyn at one point in time. And so the district attorney and the elected officials called community organizations like ours together, and we planned this program. And the court is convened at churches on weekends, and persons who have those outstanding warrants that affect their lives, affect their ability to get jobs, affect their ability to carry on life as normal, they go to these venues where we have the temporary courts, and they see a judge. The prosecutors are there, defense counsels are there, and the matters are resolved, and those warrants are dismissed if the judge is satisfied that this person has been a law-abiding citizen and may have erred on one occasion and is not a habitual crime breaker or criminal. And so people are very satisfied with what we do. Almost 50%, I'd say 60, 75% of young people from the Caribbean, when they have a police encounter that involves some type of violation of their rights or brutality, or if they're arrested and they can't afford counsel, they contact CGID every day. And so we have a significant impact on our Caribbean diaspora in New York City. And then we also represent the rights of people outside of Guyana in the Caribbean region. We've been fighting for the rights of Jamaicans. We're fighting for the rights of people from Barbados, Grenada, Haiti, Haitians, of course. And also now we are involved in helping. There's a proliferation of migrants from Africa and from some Latin American countries coming into New York. Some of them are mistreated. Some of them behave badly. Some of them commit crimes. Most of them are poor. They have nothing, food, clothing. And CGID started a drive to get clothing and food for these people. We've been interacting with government officials on their behalf. Some of them we've given legal counsel. So we have a very broad portfolio of activities that we're engaged in to help people in this community. And so Caribbean Life has recognized that and decided to honor me, and I'm grateful and I thank them for it. In addition to that, I have, in 2010, I was recognized as one of the most influential Black men in America who was under 30 years old. I was very young, very, very young, in my 20s. And so, I've received over 300 awards for the work I do on behalf of our community and our people and immigrants in the United States.
And the Guyanese world recognizes you. Rickford Burke, we agreed that this program would be it would be brief and it would be for half hour. We have gone over half hour period, but so many people are tuning in. I want to ask you this question before we wrap up. Your voice carries. Your opinion matters on any subject that has to do with Guyana. When you look at the teachers' strike, you look at the opposition's reaction, you look at the layman's reaction, when you look at the unions and all involved, and if you were to give your position, your opinion on the Guyana teachers' strike and how it should be resolved, what would you say to the Guyanese people?
Well, I'm shocked that the government is completely ignoring the teachers and the teachers' union. They're violating the law. And that's why today I'm happy that Judge Sandil Kisoon has taken jurisdiction, seized this matter, and ordered mediation. I'm happy that he's done that. This is one judge that is upholding the rule of law.
Yeah.
Having said that, the law requires that whenever there's an industrial dispute, the Ministry of Labor should initiate conciliation, which is a consultative mediation process. The government has not been doing that because their strategy is to completely ignore the teachers, strain their patience, deduct their salaries, starve them of funds, and so they'll get tired and feel abused and go back into the classroom with anything. I think they completely underestimated the will, political will of these teachers, because it's a political matter now. And
it has become a political matter.
It has become a political matter. So their attorney, Darren Wade, the teachers' union attorney, Darren Wade, went to the court and sought some conservatory orders. Conservative orders mean to conserve the status quo, preserve it. That was granted, and the judge ordered the government not to touch the teachers' salary, one, because they were attempting to cut their salary for days they were on strike.
Yes.
And two, not to stop their deduction of their union dues, which they authorized the government to do. The government arbitrarily attempted to stop that. The court ordered them not to. It was very shocking to me, therefore, that the chief education officer sent out a memorandum to education officials all across the country,
saying that they would not be paid if the
government will not pay teachers for the days they were on strike, in direct defiance of the order of the court. So I was not shocked today when the court summoned him. I understand that he apologized, claimed that he was misadvised. He undertook to withdraw the letter, that memo that he sent out, and the judge ordered them to agree on two senior counsels to mediate. That's the right course of action. Industrial action in Guyana requires conciliation and mediation, and the Ministry of Labor is responsible for that. What the Ministry of Labor is doing is what the Republicans did in this country when President Obama, I'm likened to that, when President Obama nominated Justice Garland, who's now the Attorney General, to go on the Supreme Court. They refused to take, the Republicans in the Senate refused to take it up for a hearing, to have a vote on it. The government is required to invoke conciliation laws. They're refusing to do that. Now, I think that's where it became political. The opposition right away should have jumped on that, called it out, moved to the court to get a mandamus writ compelling the Ministry of Labor to invoke the law, which is that is a requirement. And I guess they have fell into the trap of the PPP that's saying because the General Secretary of the Teachers Union is an opposition member of Parliament, that there's a PNC strike. They're disrespectful to Coretta MacDonald because the PPP has president of the Gahu Union as a member of Parliament too. Jagan was a member of Parliament. When the PP was in opposition, Priya Manichan, now Minister of Education, joined the teacher strike. Bart Jagdeo called for the strike. He demanded that the teachers, the Granger administration, pay the teachers 50%. Irfan Ali went into Parliament with this big viral rant demanding 50% for the teachers. Now they're in government because most of the teachers are black. They say 6.5%. It is contemptuous of the nation's teachers. In addition to that, they decided to attack the teachers' union viciously, saying that their accounts have not been audited, got the Auditor General to inject himself into this matter by issuing a statement saying that the accounts for the teachers' union has not been audited. This is the same Auditor General, that stood up with Sharon Das and cheered and took a toast to the no confidence motion. Injecting himself now again, demonstrating his political bias by attacking the teachers' union on behalf of the PPP. And so then Prem and Chan said the government gives the teachers union a grant of $5 million every year, and they have not accounted for it, which is a lie. Because as Coretta McDonald and the union president has pointed out, in order to get the current year's grant, you have to clear the previous year's grant. So this is how nasty and dishonest the PP government is. And that's why I'm happy that the judge has taken over this matter, brought it within the purview of the court, the jurisdiction of the court, and he will now order them to sit down and mediate and resolve this strike. That's the way to go when you're dealing with an autocratic government that wants to move a country from democracy to autocracy. And today, the judge said, Judge Kissoon said, that the actions of the ministry brought the justice system into disrepute. Imagine that. The judge, the Supreme Court of Guyana, today said the actions of the government brought the justice system into disrepute because he ordered them to preserve the status quo, keep paying the teachers, not to touch the teachers' deductions. And the chief education officer, on the direction of the government, sent out a letter saying, this government will not pay the teachers for days they were on strike, in direct contravention of the judge's order. In this country, in your country, any country, he would have been in jail.
Rickford Burke, before I ask you for your closing remarks, because we've gone over the time and I'm happy that you're still here. So many people are tuning in and so on. Rickford, Bar Jagdeo directly attacks you. And I know that you are aware that Barra Jagdeo is the government of Guyana, that Barra Jagdeo is the problem that Guyana is faced with all the time. For years, is the problem that Guyana is faced with. I don't think the PPP government, with people in the PPP government that want to see good, I think that Barra Jagdeo is the person that is poisoning the PPP government. That people may want to feel that we can unite as a nation, we can govern as a nation, we can do all that we can as a nation, even in the PPP. But Barra Jagdeo is a problem. Barra Jagdeo sees you as his rival. He sees you as the person who can bring his de facto rule to an end. What would you say to the people of Guyana about Barra Jagdeo in the context in which I mentioned? And what would you say to the people of Guyana for a solution to be had almost immediately politically where Barra Jagdeo is there?
Well, Barra Jagdeo has committed crimes. Currently, those crimes are with relation to his attacks on me are under investigation by the Federal Bureau of Investigations and other law enforcement agencies. So I don't want to comment on that. He has also committed atrocities, crimes against humanity, for which I think he should be held accountable by the international community, at the International Criminal Court, by the Inter-American Commission for Human Rights. That's something that I'm committed to long term. He knows that. That's why he's attacking me. You notice he say I'm a criminal. But he's a criminal that actually committed crimes. Barra Jagdeo is the reason that we have a rancorous politics. Mm-hmm. He believes that whenever he's in power, nobody from the opposition must benefit from the resources of the country, must be allowed to thrive economically, and must have a living. He formed death squads that killed people, formed and financed death squads that killed people, hundreds of young black men.
Primarily African Guyanese.
Primarily African Guyanese. The reason there's such racial hostility bubbling up and pervasive in Guyana is because of Barra Jagdeo and his racism. And he has immersed the PPP into his racist politics. And so the PPP would never thrive, never rule Guyana in peace and tranquility so long as Barra Jagdeo is around, because so long as he's around, their government will be tinged with racism and injustice against black people. And so if the PPP knows what's good for itself and wants to genuinely govern Guyana for everybody, it has to get rid of Barjack. The other thing I would say is that it was unfortunate that the Granger administration came to power and did not hold Barjack accountable. Barjack, they should be
Wow.
in jail.
Wow.
He should
Wow.
not be around
Wow.
governing as a vice president of a country. He is a killer. He is a crook. He's a cheat. He's a thief. He's a bribe collector. He should be in jail. And it is a cardinal sin, an unpardonable sin of the Granger administration. And now they allow him to come back to be a more vicious dictator. You think that he's a tyrant. I call him a bootleg Hitler.
But he's afraid
And let
of
me
you
say this
more.
finally.
He's afraid, before you go
Whenever they come,
finally, he's afraid of you more than the opposition. And I think you read my mind when you said what you had to say. If in 2025 a new government assumes office, what would be your advice to that government in relation to Barjack deal? Make your point and then respond to that.
he should be investigated, and wherever there is evidence, he should be charged, given due process, and prosecuted. If convicted, he should get the death penalty. These guys killed people, and they think it's a normal course of politics. He should be tried. He should be held accountable. If not the death penalty, life in prison. And let me say this, Norman. All the others who are enablers to the injustices that they perpetrate on the people of should be held accountable whenever the government changes. They must be held and treated the exact same way they're treating people. If they mustn't even be given a phone call. If they want a phone call, they must, well, as a human rights advocate, I probably shouldn't say that. But they must be treated the same way they treated people when they were in government. They must be held to account, and they must face justice, or they must run from the country, face exile. I make no apologies for saying that.
Rickford Burke here on Voice of the Diaspora. We are wrapping up now. We have gone over the time. Rickford Burke has taken the opportunity to come on this program against pressing issues affecting him and things that he has to do that has nothing to do with Guyana. And that indicates a great leader. It indicates Rickford, you have to give your closing remarks. So many people are tuning in. It's like the program is getting really hot now. But I want to ask you one more question before you offer your closing remarks. The opposition, are you satisfied with this performance?
No. I know there are constraints. They're operating in a vicious political environment where the police force is used as a tool of oppression against them. They're followed, their conversations are taped, they get arrested, but that's the price you pay for political activism. I think the international community should be petitioned more by the opposition. I think the opposition should do more to hold the government accountable and to represent their constituents. Again, I understand the constraints that they face and the lack of resources, but I think that more can be done. And when I say more can be done, I don't necessarily mean the opposition leader, I mean the collective opposition. Everybody has a responsibility. Members of my organization are very frustrated that sometimes the opposition is not as active and aggressive as it can be. One example is this teacher's strike. I think the opposition should call out their supporters to demonstrate with the teachers, show solidarity with the teachers. There are lots of issues that the opposition, mainly injustices. This government doesn't care about what it does to people. Look, for instance, they took the city council land and give it to some Qatari that looks like them to build a hotel. And they're wrong and strong Like they're taking away the land for black people all across the country. Agricola. And the basis that they're taking away that land, even though in the case of Agricola it's erroneous, is that the land is not theirs. Now they're going to take the city council land. The land doesn't belong to them, and give it to somebody who probably bribed one of them. So the opposition must stand up against these things. That's what an opposition is there for, to stand up against the government, to expose corruption, wrongdoing, and excesses. And in this case, racism and
not
discrimination.
satisfied
And
that they are doing their job.
offer themselves as an alternative government, meaning present an alternative vision to the country. Present an alternative vision to the country.
And you're not satisfied that's the case. You're not satisfied that's the case.
I'm not satisfied that they're doing. I'm not satisfied that the opposition is performing to the best of the ability and to the expectation of their constituents.
Are you satisfied that they're performing at all?
Well, some people in the opposition are performing. Some people in the opposition are working hard. I have no doubt about that. But I think collectively the opposition leaves much more to be desired.
Rickford Burke, we have 4 minutes to the hour mark. I would like to have your closing remarks. This program tonight, you have spoken out. I want to say to our viewers that at the last minute, against pressing issues that you had to deal with, you took the time to come on this program. You should not have been on this program because of the pressing issues that are affecting you and that you have to subscribe to. But the love for Guyanese, the love for the struggle, the love for the liberation of Guyanese people brought you on this program. And if I were to say that you are on this program in pain, people may ask me why. I would not say that, but you have proven.
I have an injury which I'm addressing,
yes,
but
you have proven to us that your love for Guyana is unconditional. Rickford Burke, I can't push it further. Barra Jagdeo wants to kill you. We understand that. They have created a kangaroo trial in Guyana for March the 28th, Anil Nandalal and the others. They see you as a powerful black man that has connection in the U.S. government, and they are blindly trying to discredit you, and they've gone to the courts to bring you down, to make it official that you are a criminal. They can't extradite you. They can't do anything. The world knows that everything is trumped up, and that their racist attitude, that they're clutching at straws to bring you into disrepute. That is not working, because you are a true leader and you are on every platform for the world to hear, for the world to see, and for the world to acknowledge. Your closing remarks, Rickford Burke.
Well, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to always talk with you guys and to talk with the viewers. I want everybody to know that I'm unafraid of the PPP. They'll have to kill me to silence me, and that can't happen. Because if they do that, there'll be tremendous consequences, and that'll probably be the end of their government. And I want to say again that anytime they kill any other person, Guyanese people must not allow them to stay, not allow them to remain or ensure justice. Not allow them to do it with impunity, and they must ensure justice. And so I want to call on all Guyanese, one, to support the teachers. Teachers mold the nation. And it is heart-wrenching to see that the teachers are out there fighting for a living wage, saying to the government, we have to have 2, 3, 4 other jobs, sell snacks to make a living. And you have a government using and drawing down hundreds of billions of dollars, US dollars, from the oil fund. And they can't even take 2% of that money and pay the teachers. But they can give it to cane cutters, those East Indian guys, the Burmese. Yeah, we got to pay them. Those are our guys, right? East Indian supremacy. And so the nation must sympathize with the teachers, must do everything they can to help the teachers. The diaspora here, we're planning programs to help the teachers. And then politically, we have to get to a point in Guyana where there's accountability, where people might die, but we have to stand up and fight for our country to remain democratic. We cannot allow this slide. And the government is slick. They're so intimidate people. They have CARICOM heads of government conference, U.S. ambassador visiting, UN ambassador. People are so scared to tell these people, at least the public, what is really going on in Guyana. They're so desperate to associate and to get validation from Black people abroad that they're buying awards. I understand that they paid some amount of millions of dollars for the president to get some award from Ghana. They call it a contribution to the organization. They want validation for Black people abroad while they're contemptuous of Guyanese. So Guyanese, all of us must join hands and continue to confront this racist government and try to extricate our country from this PPP tyranny as soon as possible.
You deserve every award.
That's why you have elections.
You deserve every award that is coming your way. You deserve the love of the Guyanese people for your contribution, your historic contribution to the Guyana struggle. 100 years later, what Marcus Garvey was to Jamaica and the Black world, what Malcolm X was to America and the Black world, what Farrakhan is to America and the Black world, you are to Guyana and the Black world. Rickford Burke, thank you very much. Thank you very much for being here on this program. You've taken the time out to come against the odds to be here to speak to our people. You are a doyen. You are a freedom fighter. You are a true leader. You are outspoken. And the Guyanese people love you. They revere you. And until next time, we hold you up because you are one of us and you are a bastion in the struggle for the liberation of Guyanese people. Thank you very much for being here on The Voice of the Diaspora.
Good afternoon, sir. Can you tell the viewers what is happening here this afternoon?
Well, normally there's people for protest, and I see a set of people there protesting, and I figure wherever they're protesting there must be a party, got to get free rum, so I just decided to join for the free rum.
You think I care? They must think I care. That's why you always broke. You think I care? Your girl get you think I care? On the table you duck. You think I care? Oh, your soul don't work. You think I care? That's why you just get blow. You think I care? You neighbor them know. You think I care? Oh, you like free rum. You think I care? And you don't mind your son. You think I care? They tell the people how you get blacklist. I don't know what I want with your name. Well, if you see my face, I unbothered. Cause all know, cause I'm still in the game. Half of them was telling my story, telling people I don't get work. Well, if you know crazy is, then you know how I stay. Then you know that I don't give a fuck. Say clothes them cheap, you think I care? The man get a jeep, you think I care? Oh, your roof does leak, you think I care? Cars are antique, you think I care? You say you thief some money, you think I care? You just get knocked out, you think I care? Oh, you build some house, you think I care? Oh, the one give laugh, you think I care? 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 You must think I care? You think I care? You think I care? You think I care? You must think I care? You think I care? You think I care? You think I care? You must think I care? You think I care? You think I care? You think I care?
Good afternoon, sir. Can you tell us what is happening here this afternoon?
First of all, my name is Bartholomew Pythagoras Petroleum Concern. And you see, I'm out here because I'm concerned. We are concerned. Concerned about one Kwesi Ace Edmondson.
And what exactly are you guys concerned about?
First of all, I know that my dialect is extremely proficient. So accompanying me here is my esteemed translator.
Yeah, that's me.
And what's your name?
Oh, well, I Stacy from the back road, yeah?
Yes.
At the funny news.
First of all, he doesn't have a very sophisticated automobile.
Well, he carry nice, it's a old carry drive, yes.
Yes. And he shirks from his biological duties.
Here now, we trying to say that he don't mind it cheering them.
Yes, and the other thing, he's prone to perfidiousness, you know.
Well, he just gave blow and he's get plenty blow.
They must think I care. Me bills don't pay. Me taking and stress when me A get great. Since I was a little boy, I did on own way. I'll tell my friend, that is how I stay. You can do what you want, hope and pray. Drop this tune, you can say don't play. You can tell me January